So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning, like Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them.
The Indiana Fever just played their biggest game of the season. In packed arena, electric atmosphere, and serious playoff energy. Caitlin Clark was facing off against the reigning champs, and this matchup had all the makings of a WNBA classic. But instead of a highlight-filled showdown, fans got something else entirely: a full-blown referee disaster. Caitlin Clark took some hard hits with no whistles. Lexi Hull got slapped with a phantom foul, and the officials, it looked like they were doing everything they could to gift wrap the win for New York. Fans weren't just confused, they were outraged, and they weren't alone. Head coach Stephanie White made it crystal clear she's had enough. And Caitlin, she didn't sugarcoat anything, because this wasn't just one bad night. It's part of a bigger issue, one that's been brewing all season, a pattern of questionable calls and lopsided officiating that's dragging down the league's credibility. And now it's exploded. In a shocking move, the WNBA has officially suspended Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Yes, the commissioner herself, following reports that she repeatedly failed to act on growing complaints about referees. According to league insiders, Engelbert ignored mounting pressure from players, coaches, and even fans who've been calling out the refs for weeks. This marks a historic moment, the first time ever that a WNBA commissioner has been suspended. But truthfully, no one's shocked anymore. And here's where it gets even messier. Behind the scenes, there's been growing tension. Rumors say some team owners and league executives have been quietly pushing for Kathy Engelbert's removal for a while, especially after major stars like Caitlin Clark started speaking up publicly. Because for many, this wasn't just about missed calls, it was about protecting the league's reputation. And when the heat got too real, Kathy was the one who took the fall. So stay tuned. We're breaking down every blown call, every moment of madness, and why the WNBA must fix this officiating crisis fast, or risk losing the fans they just worked so hard to win over. Let's dive in.
They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Let's call it what it is. Fans are flat out saying the WNBA is rigged, and they're not holding back anymore. From the second the Indiana Fever hit the floor, something felt off. This wasn't your average regular season matchup. It had the intensity of a playoff showdown. The crowd in Indianapolis was electric. The arena was buzzing. Celebs showed up. The energy, off the charts. The Fever showed up ready to compete, but the refs, it felt like they were playing for the other team. Caitlin Clark was getting hammered all night, and somehow the whistles stayed silent. Lexi Hull put on a clinic in clean defense, only to get slapped with a foul that clearly wasn't there.
The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss.
Meanwhile, the New York Liberty were practically living at the free throw line. And let's be real, this isn't some one-off situation. It's becoming a trend. So let me ask you, if you watched this game live, did any of it feel fair? This didn't just start last night. Ever since Caitlin Clark entered the league, the physicality has gone through the roof. She's been bumped, grabbed, shoved, even blindsided off the ball. And through it all, crickets from the refs. Remember that cheap shot from Kennedy Carter? That off-ball hit wasn't just dirty, it was reckless. And the officials, they called it a common foul, not a flagrant, not even a technical, just business as usual. And it's not just Caitlin getting the short end of the stick. The entire Fever squad has been stuck on the wrong side of call after call.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CB.
Want the cold hard numbers? Here they are. The Fever are currently minus 31 in free throw differential this season. That's not a misprint, that's a full-blown crisis. Now let's rewind to the Liberty game. This This matchup had everything going for it. Caitlin Clark dropping dimes to Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull locking down on defense, big-time plays, wild momentum swings. It had the makings of an instant WNBA classic. But what did fans actually get? Another night ruined by officiating. The Liberty got 32 free throw attempts. The Fever, just 15. That's more than double. In a game that came down to the wire. And it wasn't just about how many calls were made. It was about what kind. Soft fouls sent New York to the line, while the Fever were getting bumped, shoved, and body checked with 0 whistles. It felt like there were 2 completely different sets of rules. Caitlin Clark was being pushed off her spot all night, and on the final possession, she was absolutely mauled. 4 separate fouls, and still, not a single call. Can you even imagine that happening to LeBron or Steph in a crunch time playoff moment? Yeah, neither can we.
You know, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. You know, I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball.
Let's talk about head coach Stephanie White, because after the game, she did not hold back. In her post-game press conference, she came out swinging. She pointed straight to the numbers, a -31 free throw gap, and her team was the one attacking the basket. She called it what it was, disrespect. And this wasn't some heat of the moment rant. This was anger that had been building for weeks. Her message wasn't just for the officials, it was for her team. She let her players know, I see it, I've got your back, and I'm not letting it slide. And that kind of leadership, it's everything, especially for a young team still finding its identity. Now let's talk about Caitlin Clark. She didn't explode at the refs, but her body language said it all. You could see it in her eyes. The disbelief, hear it in her voice. The frustration, feel it in her tone. The exhaustion. As for Aaliyah Boston, she went with the classic no comment. But after watching how that game played out, that silence, it spoke loud and clear. And then came the real shocker. The WNBA has officially suspended Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Yes, the commissioner herself is out. Why? According to insider reports, Engelbert ignored months of complaints about poor officiating. Players were frustrated, coaches were outraged, and fans completely done. But that's not the whole story. Word is some WNBA owners had already been pushing behind the scenes to get her removed. And once stars like Caitlin Clark started publicly calling it out, it was game over. Some say Engelbert was made the fall girl, others think her suspension was long overdue. Either way, this is the biggest shakeup the league has seen in years. Because here's the truth, the WNBA is at a turning point. The league is finally in the spotlight. Attendance is booming, TV ratings are climbing. Caitlin Clark has brought millions of new fans to the game. But what are those fans seeing? Blown calls, biased officiating, referees who seem like they've picked a side.
It's another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA had a golden opportunity, a real shot to turn casual viewers into lifelong fans. But every time the refs blow a call or swallow the whistle, it pushes people further away. So let me ask you straight up, would you keep watching a league that refuses to protect its stars? This goes way beyond missed calls. This is about protecting the game itself. It's about fairness. It's about showing that no matter how big your name is, or how new your team is, everyone gets a fair shot. Because here's the cold truth, if the WNBA loses Caitlin Clark's fan base, they won't get another moment like this again. The Indiana Fever are doing their part. The players are fighting every night. Coach Stephanie White is speaking out. The fans are showing up and making noise. Now it's the league's move. So what really happened with Commissioner Kathy Engelbert? On the surface, it looked like a bold stand. After reviewing the chaos from that Liberty versus Fever game, the league announced that refs had been suspended. They called it a move to uphold accountability and integrity. That's the official version. But behind the scenes, the story gets much more complicated. Multiple sources around the league say Engelbert was asked to resign that same night, privately, quietly, by top WNBA executives. And no, this wasn't just about one bad night of officiating. This pressure had been brewing for months. Why? One word keeps popping up: bias. More specifically, alleged favoritism toward the New York Liberty. And no, this isn't just wild fan speculation. These concerns are coming from within the league. Let's go back to last year's WNBA Finals. The Liberty won a tightly contested series against the Minnesota Lynx, but the headlines weren't just about the games, they were about about the commissioner herself. Kathy Engelbert walked onto the court to present the trophy, wearing a dress in the Liberty's colors. Fans watching at home were stunned. Wait, is she part of the team now? That moment went viral. She was smiling, dressed in black and blue, handing over the trophy. Right after controversial late-game calls helped the Liberty seal the win. Was it just a fashion coincidence? Maybe. But for fans who already felt the league favored New York super team, it was confirmation. Since then, every questionable call that benefits the Liberty just adds fuel to the fire. And this most recent game against Indiana, it broke the dam. The missed calls, the no calls, the massive free throw gap. It was too obvious, too lopsided, too familiar. The WNBA suspended the refs, but only after social media exploded. And by then, it was clear. They weren't being proactive, they were scrambling. Insiders say WNBA owners and execs had already been raising alarms behind closed doors. And with Caitlin Clark now drawing national attention and millions of new fans, the league couldn't afford another misstep. They had to act fast. And Kathy Engelbert? She became the sacrifice. What started as a suspension of referees turned into the removal of the commissioner herself. All because the WNBA realized it's not just about basketball anymore. It's about perception. It's about trust. It's about credibility. In 2025, with the world finally watching, the WNBA couldn't afford another scandal under her leadership. Let's be honest. Would this shakeup have happened without Caitlin Clark in the picture? Probably not. Caitlin isn't just changing how the game is played. She's changing how the entire league operates. Her impact is massive. More TV coverage, sold out arenas, higher expectations, and that also means every missed foul, every shady whistle is now a national headline. That Liberty versus Fever matchup, it wasn't just a bad night, it was a PR disaster. So what did the league do? They hit the emergency button, suspended the officials, tried to silence the backlash, and maybe reluctantly showed Engelbert the door. Because here's what the league knows deep down. If Caitlin Clark's fans lose faith in the WNBA, so does the league's greatest momentum surge in history. So now we're left with the big question. Was this the right move? Or did the WNBA just reveal how deep its issues really go? Let me know what you think. Are the refs just struggling early in the season? Or is this a bigger problem that demands a total reset? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've stuck around this long, you're more than just a viewer. You're part of the conversation. Thanks for watching, and trust me, this story is far from over. See you in the next one.